Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is a podcast dedicated to Yiddish literature. My father and I decided to do this so that we can keep this literature alive for the next generation. He's going to be reading in Yiddish, and I'll be translating. I'll be reading the translations in English. I hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, let's start. So this is a story of ZALMAN Libin with the name Farvus Tarakaner landslide zanen mir Sonym. Okay, let's start. Wo ist es nur du, a Tarakaner Landsman in New York? Ist des meiner a verbessener Säune. Alle Tarakaner gur und Ausnahme, sondern mir Sonnen. This is the first paragraph.
This is a story by ZALMAN Libin. Why the Taracans are my enemies. Wherever there is a man from Tarakanen in New York, he is a confirmed enemy of mine. All natives of Tarakanen, without exception, are my sworn enemies.
Ich versichere euch, als ich euch nicht tun, zu wissen, wo Tarakaner wächst. Ich hab gewähnt Tarakan, Gufe, oder wegen der Tarakaner keinmal in meinem Leben kein schlecht Wort nicht ausgerät. Und doch sollen alle Tarakaner mir sonnen. Tuf Chikaves. Wie soll das passiert? Wo alle Tarakaner sollen auf mir azoi angestoßen.
I assure you, I haven't the faintest idea where Tarakan is. I have never in my life spoken ill of Tarakan itself, or of native of Tarakan, and yet all the natives of Tarakan are my foes, and here's the reason.
In a gewissen schönen Frühmorgen klappen sie mir in Zier und a pur ingela. Wohin du, der und der? Fragt die Ingelad auf mein Nummer. Yes, das bin ich, Taki. Kim Taran. Wir sollen a Committee losen mir wissen, die zwei Ingelad. Von wem in der Committee? Von die Tarakaner Independent. Sehr angenehm. Was verlangt ihr? Also wie wir haben ein Konzert in Ball zu unser Juristfest, geben wir heraus ein Journal. Wollten wir gewollt, als sollte etwas für uns anschreiben. Etwas also ja lachendes, wie es passt sich für ein Jontef-Journal.
On a certain beautiful morning, 2 young men knocked at my door. Is this the home of Mr. So-and-so? They asked and mentioned my name. Yes, I'm the very man. Come in. We are a committee, the young men informed me. What kind of committee? Of the Independent Tarakan Society. A pleasure. What can I do for you? As we are running a concert and ball for our annual festival, we are issuing a journal and would like you to write something for us. Something comical. befitting of a journal for a festive occasion. I'm very busy.
Now I'm reading. Ich bin sehr vernommen. Ich hab stark kein Zeit nicht. Fang ich obzwogen sich von dem Covid, welchem legt mir vor, entweder mir einer von der Committee. Ihr besser reiht sich nicht mit den Tarakanen. A Kleinigkeit. Die Tarakaner Independence helft hinter der zweite Commitment. Spielt sich mit unser Verein. Vergesst nicht, als wir zählen, es ist Tausender gestandene Mitglieder. Es ist eine Macht.
I'm very busy and really have no time. I begin to reject the honor which they proffer me. One of the young men interrupts me. You'd better not oppose the independent Taracans. They're no trifle. The independent Taracans. The second member of the committee supports the first. Trifling with our society, don't forget we count our membership in the thousands in good standing. We have influence.
In Tarakaner sollen Menschen, welche vergessen a Teufel. Tarakaner spielen eine Rolle in New York, haben mich an Gerät der Committee. Nu, ich weiß doch dem Schreibers beter ein Stückel Bräu, man ist ständig abhängen von zweitens Meinung. A viele kurz kann dem Schreiber seine Parnusse Kali machen. Will sich doch mit keinem nicht heranreißen. Ob ich versprochen, etwas angeschrieben für die Tarakaner Independence. Ich habe meine Versprechen gehalten, angeschrieben etwas Freilers, angeschickt auf dem angegebenen Adress.
And the natives of Tarakan are a people who never forget a favor. Besides, they play an important role in New York. Well, you know how bitter is the writer's loaf, how he is always dependent on the views of others. Even a cat can interfere with the writer's livelihood. Also, I didn't want to offend anyone. I promised to write something for the Independent Tarakan Society. I kept this promise, wrote something comical, and sent it to the designated address.
Geputert an Essig, tracht ich bei sich. Jetzt weiß ich, als Tarakaner sollen meine Menschen. Bei Wochzeit später kommt zu mir wieder a Committee von 2 junge Männer. Seid ihr der und der? Yes, meine Frau. Wir kommen auch als Committee von den Tarakaner. Weiß ich doch, als ich habe für die Tarakaner Gefälligkeit. Gefälligkeit geschehen. Und ich weiß, als es darf bei sie die Zeiten a Baal sein. Folgt mir nun a Gedanke, als die wohle Männer sollen me Haschum gekommen aus zu drücken zu mir Tarakaner Dankbarkeit in verriefen mich zu seinem Simche. Werd mir von dem Regen sehr geht, nein, von dem Region sehr geht auf Narzen, in nicht entverrup. Oh, von der Tarakaner sehr angenehm.
Good riddance to them, I thought to myself. Now I know that I've won the goodwill of all the natives of Tarakan. A week later, another committee of 2 came to see me. Are you Mr. So-and-so? Yes, my friends. We have come to you as a committee of Tarakans. I knew that I had just done them a favor, and I also knew that they were to have a ball at about this time. It occurred to me that these genial young men had come, therefore, to express the gratitude of the Tarakans and invite me to their celebration. The mere thought warmed my heart, and I answered, "Oh, from the Tarakans, what a pleasure."
Mir verlangen vielleicht a Kleinigkeit. Fangt zu einer von der Committee. Also wie wir haben die Zeiten unserer Jurfest, beten wir euch, ihr wollt auf unsere Simche kommen. Sucht mir Farman Arzt, die weitere Werte von der Committee-Mon. Ich habe aber nicht das derert. Meine Verfehlen haben mich einzigen Mal beter aufgenommen. Willst du mir wel oder Committee-Mon der Red sein verlangt, als sollt für uns Gefälligkeit sein. Was für eine Gefälligkeit? Wird mir schon die Sache geschädigt. Zu lieb dem Jurfest geben mir heraus ein Journal. Weiß ich doch, schlug ich über dem Committee-Mon. Wieso weißt du das? Ich hab doch für euer Journal angeschrieben. Wen, wo's, wem? Folgen mir der Rede an bei der Committee-Lad und kicken mich mit ausgeglatzten Augen. Es ist bei mir gewesen eine Committee. Von wem? Von den Tarakaner? Von welchen Tarakaner? Schreien die erste in der Committee-Lad. Von welchen Tarakaner? Von den Tarakaner, für die Tarakaner. Es sind du verschiedene Tarakaner. Lass mich wissen, die Gitte Committee. Von welchen Tarakaner ist mir bei euch gewesen? Von der Tarakaner Independent. Also, Abbruch. Man hat euch aufgenarrt. Was heißt? es sollen noch nicht kein Tarakaner. Wer denn sollen sie? Etwas pure Charlataner, welche haben sich abgerissen von unser Verein und haben sich gemacht, a Kleisel für sich. Und wer sie sollen?
We have come to ask for a trifle, one of the members of the committee began. Since at about this time we have our annual affair, we are asking that you come to our festivities. My heart prompted the words I expected him to speak. However, I did not hear these words. We would like you, the speaker continued, to do something for us. What is it? It seemed to me the whole business was bringing me new difficulties. In connection with our celebration, we are going to publish a journal. I know that. How do you know? I've already written for your journal. When? What? For whom? Both members of the committee interrupted me and stared. A committee came to see me. From whom? From the Taracans. What Taracans? Shouted the committee. What Taracans? The Taracans. There are various Taracans, the committee man assured me. Which ones came to see you? Members of the independent Taracans. What a shame. You've been fooled. What do you mean? They're not Taracans at all. What then are they? Oh, just a few charlatans who broke off from our society and set up for themselves. That's what they are.
Finster ist mir geworden in den Augen. Wer seid ihr? Frage ich. Wir sollen die richtige Tarakanen, die United Brotherhood in United Brotherhood of Tarakan. Die mächtige Organisation in New York. Ich hab genommen sich Tiruzen, wie soll raten sich. Ich nicht dürfen als zweiten Mal schreiben. Meine alle Tiruzen haben aber mir wenig geholfen. Die Committee hat mir erklärt, kurz und scharf. Also ich habe geschrieben für die Tarakaner Independent, welche sollen eigentlich nicht mehr wie ausgesprochene Sonym von der richtigen Tarakaner, welche werden repräsentiert nur durch a United Brotherhood of Tarakan, wenn es heißen, als ich betrat sich als Direktor, Feind von den Tarakaner, in des wollten sie mir schon noch nicht geraten, weil die United Brotherhood of Tarakan sollen alle als solche Menschen, welche gedenken an Teufel, aber noch mehr gedenken sie an Reihe. Und ich, als Stückel kehilischer Mensch, darf sich mit dieser Macht für kein Fall nicht angereißen. Die Committee hat auf mir einfach Apachet geworfen. Ich habe versprochen, schreiben für Zeerjournaal. In ich hab euch mein zweiten Versprechen eilig gehalten.
Gloomily, I asked them, "Who are you?" We are true Taracans, the United Brotherhood of Tarakan, the most powerful organization in New York. I began to offer excuses, but they were of little help. The committee declared, brusquely and pointedly, that since I had written for the independent Tarakans, who were obviously the open enemies of the true Tarakans, represented only by the United Brotherhood of Tarakans, it would be taken to mean that I exposed myself as an enemy of the Tarakans, something they would advise me against. I must bear in mind that the United Brotherhood of Tarakan are people who remember a favor, but never forget an injury. And I, as something of a public figure, must not under any circumstance offend such a powerful organization. The committee actually terrified me. I promised to write for their journal, and I kept my second promise too.
What's fashion?
A few days later...
No, it's not. Let's, this is it. Mit ein paar Tage später hat mich besuchen a dritte Committee. Tarakanen, frage ich stark erschrocken. Yes, and for the committee. Wir sollen Tarakanen. Was verlangt ihr? Also wie wir haben unser 5-jähriger Jubiläum, geben wir ein Reus Journal. Wollten wir gewollt, als euer Numen soll sich befinden zwischen unseren Mitarbeitern. Wer seid ihr? Genommen schreien. Was heißt, wer wir sollen? Hat mich die Committee angekickt wie ein Wilde. Wir sollen für die Tarakaner. Welche Tarakaner? Die Ämesse, die Richtige, die Git bekannte, berühmte, historische Organisation hinter der Namen der New Yorker Vereinigte Tarakaner. Wenn ich ob der Committee erzählt, wegen der Geschichte mit anderen 2 Tarakaner Vereinen, haben die Vertreter von den New Yorker Vereinigte Tarakaner mich ausgelacht. Und versichert mich, als man hat mich aufgenannt. Der richtige Tarakaner sollen not sehen. In Neubach will Behemes mit Tarakaner Landslat Freundschaft schließen. Mäßig schreiben nur für Zeerjournaal. In angeschrieben Epistaki a rechts. Mayne. Wir suchen das, ist mir schon daran und sagt, müssen wir weiter kriegen. Aber ich schon euch mit gearbeitet in dem Jubiläum-Journal von den New Yorker Vereinigte Tarakan.
A few days later, a third committee called on me. "Taracans?" I asked, frightened. "Yes," the committee answered. "We are Taracans. What would you like?" Since we are about to celebrate our 5th anniversary, We want to print a journal and would like your name to appear among our contributors. Who are you? I began to shout. What do you mean who we are? The committee looked at me as a savage. We are Taracans. Which ones? The true, the genuine, the well-known, famous, historical Taracans, known as the Federated Taracans of New York. When I told the committee about the other two organizations, these representatives of the Federated Taracans of New York laughed me to scorn and assured me I had been imposed upon. They were the only genuine organization of Taracans, and if I really wished to seal the bond of our friendship with the natives of Tarakan, I had better write for their journal alone and see to it that I write something worthwhile. Well, as the saying goes, if you are in a hole, you must get out of it as well as you can. I become a contributor also to the anniversary journal of the Federated Taracans of New York.
Mit etliche Tage später ist von mir erschienen ein fertiger Meeting. Weiter Tarakaner. Tarakaner, GOODMAN. Geschrieben von den Tarakaner, GOODMAN. Ist gekommen ein Committee von den Tarakaner Young Friends. Sie geben euch ein Reutzer Journal. Alright, für sie euch geschrieben. Etwas bei 3 Chadushim Zeit habe ich geholfen in ein Schreiben. Ungezahlt natürlich. Für verschiedene Organisationen, aber apunem wir zufriedenstellen, die ganze Welt kennen wir doch nicht. Die Tarakaner, alle Tarakaner, Ausnahme, sondern mir jetzt Sonym. Die Mitglieder von jedem Tarakaner Verein können mir nicht Meuchel sein, man Verbrechen. Wo sie hab geschrieben für die Journalen von den anderen Tarakanen Vereinen. In so, wie ich hab geschrieben für alle Tarakaner und Ausnahme, sondern mir take alle Tarakaner und Ausnahme Sonym geworden.
In a few days, a fourth committee came on the scene. Again, Taracans. The Tarakan young men. All right, an article for them. Obviously, you cannot satisfy everyone in the world. The natives of Tarakan, all Tarakans, without exception, are now enemies of mine.
Okay, that's the story. What do you think?
That was very funny, wasn't it?
This is here's a play of words. The Tarakan is in Russian is a cockroaches, Tarakans. So he ZALMAN Libin playing with that word. So, but in my opinion, it's somewhat reflect a real competition between a multiple Landsmannschaft in New York. So for nowadays, it seems like anecdote. And it is a sort of anecdote. It's, sounds funny, but from the Libin'S side, it's not actually a fun. So he, as a schreiber, as he is a writer, he is a famous and journalist. This book is was edited in about 1910, 1911. So the professional writers, professional Yiddish journalists, leave it. That was their source of a living income, and they did have actually not only in U.S. but back in Russia, the writers and journalists actually experienced it very how say sort of tough relationship with the editors and with the newspapers, with the magazines who prefer not to pay. So here we can see, in my opinion, so we can see two sides of this story. From one side, it sounds like a short, anecdote. From another side, it's reflect a very how say in English, very shaky condition, very shaky situation for those people who try to make profit, to earn money by writing to the newspaper, because mostly it was the stories was published in a Yiddish newspaper. So, and even before the Great Depression, so most of them was paid like $10 per story, $10 per. Am I right? It's a story, right? This is a story.
Article.
Story. So most of them was paid like $10 per one story, which is not bad if we taking in account how much were paid, in a workers in a sweatshops. So they paid like $1 or $2, maximum $3 per day, or something like that, about that. So to have $10 per one story, per one article, it seems like not bad. But to support family, to pay rent, to buy groceries and etc. So you can imagine that it's not something, something huge. And very often they weren't paid, so they were cheated, etc. So here there's Libin complained about something real. It's something real, behind it. It's not only like imagination. It's a real New York reality of, like more than 100 years ago, and that not very decent Landsmannschaft people who cheated these people with any means, cheated. So this is my opinion. As I'm reading first time in front of you. I did not read it before. So this is my opinion regarding this short story. So say several words about our podcast. What do you think about our
Well, first of all, I agree. What makes a good writer, well, first you have to be writing from experience. And so he's writing from the reality like my father's saying, the reality of living in New York 100 years ago as a journalist or, as a writer. It's not easy, and maybe complaining isn't the right word, but he's writing about his experience. But what makes him a very good writer is he can put it under the veil of something like an anecdote, something funny that keeps you reading. But what he's writing about is his reality, and it's very real for everybody in his profession.
Say several words about our endeavor, about our podcast. What is it?
So we're hoping to catch a broader audience, people who may be interested in this kind of literature or any literature at all. There's a lot of writers that maybe a lot of people never heard about, maybe many people have forgotten about. A lot of these stories are from 100, 150 years ago. So there's a few generations gap between this reality that they're writing about and our time. And it's a very specific reality for people living, like this one is in New York City. And it's very interesting because it's a true story of the American experience from the perspective of an immigrant living in a big city, as often these people did. And it's like a time capsule, and it paints a very vivid picture of what life was like back then for these people. And we think it's very important to preserve that and to give the people like myself, my generation, my son, his generation, people nowadays, we don't see this, on the internet or read about it. It's kind of like a gem, my father's amassed quite a collection of books by these authors from this time period, and we want to share this with the world, and we want to preserve the language by doing so, because these stories won't be able to be preserved without somebody being able to read them, and there's not a lot of people that can read them even nowadays. And so the fact that I have my father here reading them, finding them, and then reading them, and then finding the translations for them so that I can read them to you, and so that you guys can have an idea of what the story is about and hear both, in English so you can understand, and also hear what he's reading in Yiddish to hear what it actually sounds like. We think that's very important for the preservation of a culture that's, for the most part, dead. It's not quite a dead language, but it's very close to being a dead language. So we're trying to hold on, We hope you guys will try to hold on with us, because it is important.
Yeah. Subscribe to our channel, our podcast.
Yeah, subscribe. We'll try to do at least one story a week.
Yeah.
Maybe more if we find time. If you guys find this interesting, we'll keep pumping out stories. Like I said, we have, my dad has, it's a whole library. It's really quite a collection. We got books and books on books, and we try to find shorter stories for the for this type of YouTube, not really a YouTube short, but a shorter story that, like an anecdote that is quick and easy, quick and dirty. But the beauty, really is it when a really good author, you can pack a lot of, like, a whole picture in a short amount of words. And we try to find stories like that, the shorter stories that you guys can read or listen to us reading and find entertaining. So, but we got all kinds of books. Yeah, just subscribe and give us thoughts on maybe what kind of, we got different types of stories. So maybe certain kind you like more than another. But if you like these short stories, we'll keep pumping these out. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you all.